And our checks reveal that it's worth a few millions of dollars or euros. Now, Matthaus, who captained Germany to win the 1990 FIFA World Cup, also won the FIFA World Best Player that same year and will serve as a co-owner of Lions alongside former player agent Oliver Koenig and Ghanaian football star Frank Achampong in running the club. So the question we're asking ourselves is, was it something we did right? We all do know that football runs with great networking, just like every other area of human endeavor. But what exactly did we do right this time? And what are the implications? How well are our clubs also positioning themselves for major moves such as these? And of course, before we go ahead as well, I'd just like to share with you the very brief story of Sheikh Mansour, who is the owner of Manchester City. Now, Sheikh Mansour purchased Manchester City in the year 2008 at £212 million. Let me repeat this. Sheikh Mansour bought Manchester City back in the year 2008 for £212 million. Now, he has since invested over £1.3 billion in the club. And of course, we've seen the results. This investment has helped Manchester City win the Premier League 7 times, the FA Cup 5 times, and the League Cup 8 times. The club's value has increased from £212 million in 2008 to over £4 billion since he took over. So that is really the story of how it's happening elsewhere. What are the implications of this particular move by the highly revered former FIFA Player of the Year and FIFA World Cup winner? He could have turned his eyes anywhere. He could have turned, his radar anywhere else. But he decided to direct this investment here in Ghana and in the Ghana Premier League. In the past week, we've heard, some comments or some highlights of an interview that Ghana FA President Kurt Okreku granted SuperSport, and he's been touting his credentials as FA President and what his administration has seen and has done so far. He believes that they have overachieved. Well, are these indications that football is going very well in our country? Would like to hear your thoughts, and that's the reason why 055-1111-997 is always ready and available to get in your messages. 055-1111-997. Join us and let's have this conversation together here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. Let's now also bring you some sound bites from this very big occasion where this particular partnership or this purchase by the football legend was announced here in Accra.
The Accra-based side is said to be worth more than €6 million and will jointly be owned by football agent Oliver Koenig and Ghanaian footballer Frank Achampong alongside Lothar Matthaus. In attendance at the official event to announce the deal were Oliver Koenig, Matthaus, and the club's technical director, Ibrahim Tanko, as well as some other players. President of the Ghana Football Association, Kurt Okreku, was also present at the event, alongside the General Secretary of the Professional Footballers Association of Ghana, Anthony Bafo. The former German international, speaking to the media, revealed the day-to-day operation of the club was behind his decision to get on board as one of the 3 owners for the long-term project.
I like the style from the club, how the politics from the club, how they like to work with a young talented player, because I think you have to start early to make the player better. When you're 20, 21, they're too old, and we have players in the first team, they are 15, 16 years old. They're playing in the youth team and in the national teams, and I think this can be the way, and I like the style, how the Accra Lions perform on the field.
Also at the event, Kurt Okreku praised Accra Lions for attracting the right investment and lauded them for their style of football in Ghana.
Division 1 and then in the Premier League. Carefully planned journey. Investing at the right time, at the right levels, and in the right quantities. When you listen to Oliver, he said that usually Accra Lions do not like to be in the public space. to make the noise because agroni form. Today, because of the kind of personality we are unveiling, we cannot keep quiet. Is that not the case? So when the right levels of investment is being made in Accra Lions, when there's success on the pitch, even when you don't speak, the success on the pitch will speak. And this is what we are witnessing today. Accra Lions is a team that has an identity. They play the kind of football I want to watch. They play young boys. And just to inform everybody, Accra Lions is the youngest team in the Ghanaian Premier League.
Accra Lions have been a strong force since gaining promotion to the Ghana Premier League 2 seasons ago. They currently occupy the 9th position on the league table, 9 points behind league leaders Mediama Sporting Club, with 3 games to go.
Well, that was a report that was put together earlier by Joy Sports' Lawrence Kwekubedu. Let's now take a listen to Anthony Baffo, who traces his football roots to Germany, a former captain of the Black Stars, who also previously served as the General Secretary, Deputy General Secretary of the Confederation of African Football. He's got thoughts, especially about, talent development and the movement of youthful talents and giving them that platform at a place like Accra Lions FC.
Talk about something we have experienced it before. So, I always say there's no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs, poco a poco. And they have to be well managed. For an agent who starts new, who is only looking at the money and not at the development of the player, then there's a problem. His first mandate should be what is good at that very moment for this young player to establish himself. Sometimes we call it less is more. You go 1 or 2 steps back to jump higher. And this is what I would advise every player to really, really look at. If the team he has chosen would really help his development, and maybe you have chosen a very big team but you will not play, and you rather regress instead of progressing. So managers, people who take care of them, mentors are very important for a young player to really have success in life. Maybe not tomorrow, but tomorrow next.
So that was Anthony Baffo there sharing his thoughts as well. Not just him, we also picked the thoughts of Ghana legend Asamoah Gyan, Ghana's all-time top scorer, who also is into football development. He is the founder or originator of the idea of the Baby Jet Under-16 football tournament, which now has, assumed an African dimension. Let's take a listen to the Baby Jet.
People normally tell me, oh, you're a football player, why don't you do football and stuff? And I told them the right time will come.
Okay, so the right time has come, and he is doing exactly that. We're still here on the Joy Sports link on Joy 99.7 FM. We're just reviewing a major milestone that happened during the week. And of course, for those who may be criticizing and talking about how, certain aspects of the organization of our league may not be going well, a major landmark has been arrived at, and that is because the German football legend, he comes from a place where the game is at a certain pedestal, which elevates them to the example or the standard which we should be following and studying. He decided to come and invest his money here, and I'm talking about Lothar Matthaus in Accra Lions FC. Question is, how does this ripple positively on our league, and what are the lessons that our clubs can also learn in terms of the relationships they build, across the football, within the football space. So here with me today to have the conversations is a man who has worked in various spaces, of course, within the football ecosystem, worked very much and very effectively as a football scout, and also serves as the vice chairman of the Greater Accra Coaches Association, a seasoned pundit as well, who has not been here in a while. Coach Osman Seidu is my guest here in the studio. Also joining us virtually will be football management professional, Neil Armstrong Motagbe, who is also a former CEO of Accra Hearts of Oak. Later on, We'll be taking the thoughts of Mr. Carl Tufo, who is expected to join us here in the studio as well, about this landmark and what it means for our football and the story going forward. This is the Joy Sports Link here on Joy 99.7 FM. Remember, it's 055 1111997, 055 1111997. Some messages, and then we get into the conversations. You stay here with us.
The atmosphere is charged for rivalry and fun. Yes, it's the 12th edition of the Hits FM Rep Your Jersey powered by Bet365. Can Man City win the first ever Champions League trophy, or will Inter Milan grab their 4th title? It's the Citizens versus the Nerazzurris. Wear your favorite club jersey and join us at the Aviation Social Center Saturday 10th of June for the Hits FM Rep Your Jersey. Powered by Bet365, 10 a.m. till you drop. There'll be lots of fun, excitement, entertainment, and amazing prizes to be won. Activities include a Jama Wash and Field contest, sports quiz, five-a-side soccer, and many more. You don't want to miss this entertainment and fun-packed day as we climax and watch the finale of the UEFA Champions League in grand style on a giant screen. Follow us on our social media platforms with the hashtag HitsRepYourJersey23. The Hits FM Rep Your Jersey is powered by Bet365, supported by Joy Sport and Joy Prime, and sponsored by Shell Talks Lozenges. Think natural, think Shell Talks. Leopard Balm, Fast Action Pain Balm. Nasco, bring home happiness. Heineken, share the passion. Jamal Soap, your partner for clean clothes. National Petroleum Authority, Day by Day Man from Dream Cosmetics. Dream it, live it. Aquadot Natural Mineral Water. Wupenum Anumbio. Citizen Sports Mall. Franco Jordan Enterprise. Phone Papa Fear. DSTV. Feel every moment. Go TV, love it. It's the Hits of Fame Rep Your Jersey.
Champions, right? So you can enjoy Ghana's betting experience live with the biggest odds for sportsbook, casino, virtuals, jackpot, and aviator. So there are more options. In fact, more options day for you. So just bet and stand a chance of winning big on Betika today. So look sharp, boss. Because Charlie, time no day. Time no day. So just dial star 263 hash. Star 263 hash to deposit, bet, and withdraw with no wahala. Betika, home of champions. It's registered with the Gaming Commission of Ghana, and it's not for persons below 18. Gaming can be addictive, so you bet responsibly.
Joy 99.7 FM.
And you all do know that the atmosphere is charged for rivalry and fun. Yes, it's the 12th edition of the Hits FM Rep Your Jersey. And it's powered definitely by Bet365. So can Manchester City win their first ever Champions League trophy, or will Inter Milan grab their 4th title? What happens in this very big one between the Citizens and the Nerazzurris? So just wear your favorite club jersey and join us at the Aviation Social Center. It's Saturday, June 10, 2023 for the Hits FM Rep Your Jersey, powered by Bet365 from 10 a.m. till you drop. Did you hear that? There'll be loads of activities, Jama Wash and Field Contest, the sports quiz, the five-a-side soccer, the Champions League anthem, and many more. And you don't want to miss all of this fun and entertainment. Just follow, or with the hashtag HitsRepYourJersey23. And you better get there early. What happens every year at the Hits FM Rep Your Jersey is that, we just run out of space all the time. So just make sure to get there as early as possible. The Hits FM Rep Your Jersey is powered by Bet365 and supported by Joy Sports, Joy Prime, and sponsored by Shelltox Lozenges, Think Natural, Think Shelltox. Leopard Balm, First Action, Pain Balm. Nasco, Bring Home Happiness. Heineken, Share the Passion. DSTV, Fuel Every Moment. Demar Detergent, your partner for clean clothes. The National Petroleum Authority. Day by Day from Dream Cosmetics. Dream it, live it. Franco Trading Enterprise, Phone Papa PFA. Aquadot, Natural Mineral Water. Ubenum Anumbium. And Citizen Sports Mall. So what is your expectation of the true impact of this sale or this acquisition of major shares by Lothar Matthaus, the German football legend in Accra Lions? Let us know what your thoughts are at 055-1111-997. Now, you know Bet365 is now officially live in Ghana. So if you love your sports, what better way to get a piece of the action than just joining? You know, you could bet across a whole range of markets on the biggest sporting displays. So you can enjoy all your favorite sporting events across thousands of games with live streaming. So place your bets before the match kicks off or just try in-play betting during the live game. Remember, Bet365 also lets you cash out your bet early on selected markets. Sounds good, right? So visit the official site at bet365.com.gh and join. For over 18s only. Remember, terms and conditions apply. Please remember to gamble responsibly.
I can tell you on authority that revenues into the Football Association have increased more than before. That tells you that there's increased level of confidence in the governance of football in this country. That tells you that our agenda to operate in a very, very transparent and open manner is being appreciated by the corporate world. And I'm happy that the inflows have grown more than we met. I'm happy that we've gone through 3 times of FIFA auditing, which is key for any football association, especially in our part of the world. Also, the domestic auditing has been successful, and that brings confidence in the football ecosystem, especially in investors. Okay, if you see companies coming to the FA, approaching the FA, speaking with the FA to partner us on our journey, it is because we have done, or we have ticked the boxes right, and we have ticked the right boxes, and we have ensured that we have governed the sport with all the clean plates that one could think about and one could speak about. And I'm happy about this. Yes, inflows have improved, and inflows would improve if we continue this way. To borrow the words of Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, the evidence of it is on the face of the pink sheet. The evidence of our hard work is on the face of all the support we are offering our clubs.
Elections are coming up, and I also, everyone knows, it's an open secret that you will seek re-election.
99.7 FM.
Are you going to do that or no?
Okay, so first of all, I don't know whether elections is coming up.
You don't know whether elections is coming up this year?
And I've not started to think about elections yet.
Okay.
But I react to the mood of the people. What I will do is to react to exactly the way the people want. I remember 3.5-4 years ago, I was asked same question: Will Kelto Krakow contest for the elections? And my answer has always been, when the time comes, football will speak, and football will speak.
But if the time comes that you're going to seek re-election, which maybe from where I sit, as a journalist, I know that it's very likely maybe you seek re-election. I don't know about you. Do you think that you will get another mandate, or the delegate will give you another term?
When the time comes, football will speak. It's not for me to speak. Football will speak, and football speaks. Unless you don't know. I remember 3.5 years ago, football spoke, and they spoke very loud and clear. What I know is that I'm blessed to be alive. What I know is that I have the right levels of passion for the sport. What I know is that I appreciate the opportunity that Ghanaians and the football family offered me to serve. This opportunity I will never, never forget, and I don't take it lightly. And I will always thank the people of this country for giving me what I call a lifelong dream to serve football. I think that over 3.5 years, I have served football well.
Milestones that have been chalked, and the many the many successes that have been chalked in his 3.5-year tenure, and he believes that these are all indications of travel of football in Ghana traveling in a positive direction. Well, so after all of these, then the question we're asking ourselves is, what kind of impact as well are we expecting this particular move by the German football legend to make it in our Ghana Premier League? Coach Osman Saidu, thank you so much for being here with us this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
What was your immediate reaction, when this one broke, because there are many football markets on the African continent. And so, in terms of investment, anybody can look anywhere.
Thank you very much. Not before I continue with my introduction, you made mention of Showbiz A to Z, and one of the regular panel of Showbiz A to Z is Baba Siddiq, and would like to congratulate Baba Siddiq.
Oh, yes, of course.
For winning the primaries of NDC in Okankwe Central. He's currently the parliamentary candidate for NDC in Okankwe Central. We congratulate him. He's such a fantastic gentleman, and happy he's joining the political ecosystem.
We are hoping as well that he's going to make massive impact. Sadiq is somebody we've worked with here at the Multimedia Group. And interestingly, some time back, he was rumored as the man to take over as substantive CEO of Accra Hearts of Oak. That didn't go through.
Yeah, one of the reasons that he could not do that because he was eyeing the seat of Okankwe Central, and he's worked towards it to become the winner. It was a tough competition. It was a tough election.
So the constituency where Sadiq is operating in now is a place where we can trace a lot of football talent as well. As for football, it's always in a man's heart. We all do know the story of Honorable Vincent Sowell Dute. Exactly. He's still very much in football after his, he's still very much involved in politics as well. So let's see how it goes. But congratulations once again to Baba Sadiq, a wonderful gentleman, and it's great that he started all that movement from here at the Multimedia Group.
We wish him all the best. So, very well. Nat, I would. This is like we should have a very holistic. We should digest Accra Lions right from the beginning.
Very well.
And then we look at how they have branded themselves, how they've positioning themselves for a player like Martin and what's his name? Lothar Matthaus to purchase, to invest in the club. So Accra Lions was formed on the 1st of December in 2015. Now, having formed Accra Lions, they played in the second division league for 2 seasons. And then they qualified to the Division 1 league.
Very well.
The first year they qualified to the Division 1 league, it was a league that we call a normalization league. So it was not really keenly contested. And then after that, they went to play a full season in Division 1 league. In their second season, they qualified to the Premiership. So you could see that there is some consistency in their performance. And this is their second year in the Premiership. Now, Accra Lions, like you rightly said, is the youngest team in the Premier League. In fact, to be honest, it's not only in the Premier League, even in the Division 1 league, even in some of the second division leagues. I mean, Accra Lions still will be on top as the youngest team. The average age is around 18.9. They have more than, out of the 32 players that they have registered, they have almost 18 that are less than 20 years.
I see.
So you could see that it's a holistic plan to be where they are now. Now, having said all this, they have a philosophy. And what is their philosophy? Their philosophy is to develop. They are not really interested in the result, but they are really interested in development. However, Nat, do you know that if you concentrate on development, you would get the result anyway? But if you concentrate on result, you will not get development and you will not get result. Typical example is Accra Attoh, Kumasi Asante Kotoko.
Before you come to that, it's interesting you've mentioned player development, because I do throw back to many years ago when the late Alhaji Sly Tete was alive. And Alhaji Ibrahim Sly Tete's model at Liberty Professionals looks like what Accra Lions are pursuing now, where the focus is on player development. And of course, over the period, we saw the results. I mean, we saw the structure that he had put up. I mean, the structures, physical, infrastructure-wise, and of course, the kind of material as well that he was attracting, and the kind of material he managed to get out there into the big leagues of the world. So it's just refreshing to note that at least one new club within the system is towing a certain specific direction.
Absolutely, and they are making gains. Do you know that they've transferred 19 players in the 2022-2023 league we are playing now? 19 good players.
Wow.
Out of these 19, 8 of them are in the local league. So we are talking about 11 players outside. This is unprecedented in some years. Within some years that we are talking about. How many players of Accra Attoh or Kumasi Asante Kotoko have transferred in the last 2 years? I can't even talk about 5. So for me, Accra Lions they've really branded themselves and positioned themselves. You've not even seen.
Before you go on, I'd like those who probably may not be used to the doings and the happenings and the kind of financial reward that lies within growing talent and moving them around. I'd want you to go into that a little bit. The bit where players are brought into the system, they are developed, and then they are transferred. Tell us more about it and how it does affect the coffers of a club or of the finances of a club.
So basically, I would like to use Accra Lions as a case study.
Once again, very well.
So Accra Lions have some teams that are feeding them. So it's a well-calculated strategy they have.
Very well.
So they have a team like Kowanaso, which is a second division team, which I am the technical director of the team.
I see.
That is the team that feeds Accra Lions. Now, I can tell you without confidence that currently Accra Lions will not play a match without feeding less than 4 players from Kowanaso in their current teams. So it means their strategy is working. So currently when they are playing, they will not have less than 4 players that were promoted from Accra Lions, from Kowanaso to Accra Lions, and they are playing very well. Their captain Nabila, Shaukan, you can talk about a lot of them who are really playing very well. So for me, it takes a lot of vision to be able to identify the talent in those young players and then start developing them. But again, it takes a lot of patience. If you're not really composed and organized and really have the eye to really see those talents, work on them, and then they start producing results. So this is what Accra Lions is doing. They would identify the talent. They realize that these talents are not really right for Premiership. What would they do? Then they will send them to teams like Kowanaso, and then they will start developing them at that stage. And after they've gotten the necessary development to some stage, they then introduce them to the Premiership, where they would start playing Accra Lions. And once they start playing Accra Lions, they all that they need to boost their confidence is there, and then they get the necessary confidence they need to get, and then they are transferred onwards. Frederick was a striker at Kowanaso. He moved to Accra Lions. Now he's not in Accra Lions anymore. I can give you a number of examples where they've really succeeded in going through the mill from, let's say, second division to Accra Lions, and then they go outside the country. But it demands a lot of patience, a lot of vision, a lot of strategy, a lot of systems. Look, Accra Lions have the best systems in Ghana today. I'm not just saying it, I can give you examples. One example, in Accra Lions, nobody can introduce a player to the club except the player agents. Not even, except their scouts, not even the coach. Not even nobody. It's a structure they have. If you have anything to do with the player, go see the scout. If he meets the standard of the scout, he would be introduced in the team. Not like Accra Attoh, where because somebody played very well or because he's a friend to somebody, the next time you see him playing in Accra Attoh. So for me, I'm not surprised where they are today. And to tell you the facts, I expect them to even do better and go forward than where they are now.
Coach Osman Seidu's thoughts, opening thoughts here on the Joy Sports link on Joy 99.7 FM. Remember, we're streaming live on YouTube, and greetings to all of our friends who are also joining us from different parts of the world. Remember, just prefix with +233, so it will be +233 55 11 11997. Let's hear your thoughts on this particular subject, on the kind of impact that you are expecting this big move by the legendary Lothar Matthaus to make on, or make in our Ghana Premier League. Joining us for the conversation is a seasoned lecturer and broadcaster and pundit, Carl Tufo. So many years of experience in this profession, a minimum of 3 decades. And that makes me want to start calculating my own age. He's a fine product of Achimota School as well. We have to add that before I get into trouble. Original, Katie, thank you so much for your time. I'm glad you were able to make it with all the pressing assignments. And
I probably want to start by asking Osman Seidu a few questions. Who is the founder of Accra Lions?
Thank you very much. The founder of Accra Lions, when I know them from the second division, Oliver was part of the co-founders. I don't know if they have other founders.
Okay. The reason why I ask is this. I was, quote, monitoring the program as I was coming here. And I listened carefully to the words that were used and you used and the words that were said at the media conference and the words that were published out there. It's virtually the same. I have worries about the sustainability of this.
Okay.
The example that I'm going to give is what he mentioned, Liberty Professional. And that's why I asked who's the founder. Because there's a problem. Once Sly was gone, everything Liberty collapsed.
Great.
If Oliver Cronin is the founder, if he gets angry, what happens? Granted, he's got shares. He's got Lothar Matthaus bringing in what, $1 million or $2 million. He's got Ibrahim Tanko coming in, whatever. Ironically, that's one thing the media should also let us know, what the Tanko put in.
Very well.
So that we know how, quotation marks, the structure is.
And even Achampong, Frank Achampong.
Yeah. I was going to get to that. Sure. Because then, when there is the inevitable falling out, we are not going to get it like the rubbish that we normally have. For Liberty, it was one man. So he was the monarch of all that surveyed. Here, there's a founder more or less, but then there are now other shareholders. How has it been structured? How has it been done?
But in terms of Alhaji Slightete's story, of course, he also had a partner in Mr. Felix Ansong.
Yeah.
And of course, over the last couple of years, Mr. Felix Ansong now has assumed the position of president of the club. And in the last few days, we've also reported on the unfortunate happenings where the family is not exactly happy with.
That is the point.
Exactly.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, that's the point.
Then in that case, I shouldn't be here because you know it, and so let me go.
Please go ahead. Yeah,
You see,
yeah.
It's a problem. Let me not limit it to Ghana. It's a problem human beings tend to have. It doesn't mean we can't go ahead. But having said that, haven't spoken about this other part. It's good, but there is a slight worry. The slight worry is where the purpose of Accra Lions' existence. I heard Seydou. I read the articles, and it says that they're focusing on developing. Believe you me, if it's just a case of just developing the players, and you fall out of the Ghana Premier League, you're in big trouble. Very big trouble. So the balance has to be right. The idea...
Fallout meaning you get relegated?
Yes.
Very well.
Yes. And we know what it is when you get there. The good thing about it, though, is to use a figure of the stature of Lothar Matthaus in there. Unfortunately, in quote, he is my age. So the younger generation probably didn't see him play. So there's going to be that, or they will have to get that PR department, that marketing department, to sell. Because I'll bet you know him. If you go out there now, go and ask the current Jason, Lothar Matthaus, who is he?
Karim, do you know Lothar Matthaus?
Who is he?
From reading articles,
that
yes.
becomes a bit of a problem. But for people like me, in fact, before I continue, I'm going to fight with Seydou. Why the heck wasn't I invited? Why wasn't I invited? And why wasn't I given an opportunity to even get him one-on-one? That's for him to sort out when he has his opportunity to speak on those. So write it down. You're writing the number down to wait to turn it down. But that notwithstanding, it's good. The very positive part for me is getting a champion on board who is current generation, or they know him, semi-active, getting Ibrahim Tanko on board, coaching aspect, and then also bringing it to the Ghanaian field. And obviously, the stature of Lothar Matthaus may be diminishing, but it's still a name and a brand that can be worked on. So we go to the other issue of where he comes in, and he's a hard-to-work supporter. But then he wanted to rope in where I got to my friend, stick with your hard-to-work man. But then we go to those two clubs, and you ask yourself, the club that has, well, I don't know if it's true now, but the clubs that have the largest support base, because as you go long without winning trophies, the younger generation don't see the need to necessarily support you and start supporting, and that's how come those old Bronga Hafu region clubs are now getting support, because they've been consistently doing that. Why couldn't it have started there? And that to me points the case at not the current management, but the current board of not only Hartlepool, but Kotoko. And in Kotoko's case, the owners. Because if I'm marketing or I'm selling something, I can tell that, look here, I can fill Kumasi Stadium with 44,000. So Lothar Matthaus, why don't you bring 10 million? And it helps out. Hartlepool can tell you, I can fill Ohinijan with 40,000. But you see, with all due respect to the current management and the current board, those clubs are stuck behind, and then the Accra Lions are leading the way.
Yes.
Quotation marks is an insult, isn't it? But then again, I look at it from this perspective. Lions have done so well to do it because Lions are, for me, if I translate it from sports to the economic field, they are the private sector, and Hearts and Kotoko are the public sector. I hope you get the argument right.
Yeah.
So Accra Lions have done something fabulous. I'd like to see what happens 2-3 years down the line, because I also saw Goma Fete final. This one wasn't an individual. A club come to establish 90, and that was because somebody had a fantastic relationship with Rhinos Israel. Remember him?
Very well.
He used to play for Holland and Feyenoord.
Very well.
He was the captain when they won it in 1970, the European, what they call Champions League now, European Cup. And so he got Feyenoord in. Where's Goma Fete? They call it what? Wafa now. What's the problem? So I'm looking at it from that perspective. So the first or minor advice I'll be given to Accra Lions that good, you set the ball rolling, you've got these people coming in. Now let's have a plan to move it forward. Let's not just focus on just quote the development of the players. That's key. But the development of Accra Lions, dare I say, to replace Hearts of Oak in terms of support base, if so be, because suddenly we now have Man City supporters, don't we?
We do.
Man United supporters are dwindling by the day, by the minute. Tams and Sami Enimado, good afternoon to you. But that's the point. I think they should marry the two much better. Let's not just focus on the development. That will come. I think we may have abilities. We may have the talent. It's how we nurture it. So that we see Accra Lions developing, but then also becoming like Mediama, Ediana, trying to break that mold of Kotoko Hearts. Having said that, I'm just hoping, or I'm just going to probably ask him again, why did it have to be Accra? I want to see it diverse. I know they started from here, but why Accra Lions? It's like Legon Cities bought Wild Stars, and now there's nothing in Upper West. This is a business venture. They had every right to bring it to Accra. They had every right to bring it to Legon. That's their whatever it is. But here was a situation where at one stage we seemed to have clubs all over the country. Now, Upper West, Teneke, Upper East, Teneke. Tamale have two. One is on the verge of being relegated. So it would sadly mean that the 5 northern regions, Savannah, northern, northeastern, Upper East and Upper West, if we are not careful, by the end of this season, there will only be one club there. So in terms of Accra Lions, maybe I need to ask, couldn't you have got it at some other place?
Thank you very much.
Sure.
I'll just attempt to respond to some few. Because when you are talking to Carl, you need to be careful. Now, the first one is that I can tell you with all confidence that Accra Lions are not afraid to be relegated. Trust me, their philosophy really is on development and not really results. Now, what happened when they were in the Division 1 league? When we started playing the Division 1 league, we're not interested in qualifying. They rather spend a lot of time in developing the process, like setting up a team, improving the performance, and that really resulted into the qualification. Unlike, I would always say, Accra to Folk and Kotoko, who are really interested in results. Now, you've made a very important point, which I think Accra Lions should really maybe contact you for more information. Yes, you cannot continue to develop and develop and develop, because really, if you're looking at the price tag of a player who is playing the Premiership, it's different from a price tag of a player who is playing in the Division 1 league. So yes, you would like to be there, but trust me now, the philosophy of the team really, Accra Lions will not mind going to relegations the way I know them. They are really interested in just developing, but like I said, they need to maybe take this advice and think about what they would do to stay there. Now, talking about their future plans, Accra Lions are really thinking beyond even Accra Attoh and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. The strategic future plan is to be the hub in West Africa. So they have plans to go even beyond Africa. But for a start, they really want to organize West Africa, and they would like Ghana and as a matter of fact, Accra Lions to be the hub of where they would develop these talents and then be feeding the international markets with it. And they've planned that so well. Like I said, they've been able to transfer 19 good players within the 22-23 season, even though about 8 of them were in the local market. So Senior Carl, I think that for me, what I think Accra Lions should do now is to listen to advice like you gave. Yes, we want to develop talent, but we also would like to maintain the status that we have, because the moment you drop, the positioning of the club will drop a little bit. But fortunately or unfortunately, Lothar Matthaus also came and he's saying that I'm interested in what? Development. So again, that direction. I think after this program, maybe they would contact you for some more consultation. I hope you don't charge them a lot.
No, I don't charge them. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I discussed this then on my program on GTV Sports Plus with Neil, Jerome, and Felix Omak.
Very well.
And we looked at the whole concept, and I thought it was intriguing that it takes quotation marks and nobody to teach a somebody. Then it brings me back to the biblical quotation. It will take the foolish things of this world to confound the wise. And I'm seeing it being done here. A team that was formed in 2015, 2016, showing a team that was formed in 1911 how to go about it. Showing a team that was formed in 1924, not 1935. I'm not talking about Asante Kotoko. People forget the history. And I will say it here so that in case people think they say, did he hear right? It was in 24 that Kwesi Kuma formed Kumasi Asante Kotoko. He called it the Rainbow Club in Kumasi. He had been a supporter of Hartsobook and went to Kumasi and established the Rainbow Club. It was handed over to Asante Hini in 1935 to get the blessing of Asante Man. And so that's how people are saying, oh, Kotoko was founded in 35. No. The reason why I'm saying 24 is Manchester United, when they were formed, what was the name? Newton Heath. And yet they trace it from there before they became Manchester United. The same with Man City. Arsenal were called Woolwich Arsenal before they became Arsenal. They dropped the Woolwich because they were at the time within the enclave of Woolwich. Now they are North London. So for me, but I'm saying that they are teaching clubs who are 80 and above the things to do. And how old are they? 7 years?
Yeah.
That it tells me that there's basically something wrong here. I don't know what role the FA plays in it, because we can't talk about this thing without the FA.
You can't isolate them.
Must also be seen to be, quote, being involved, because if it's bring back the love, if it's a case of you're trying to, and I heard Kurt, your insert with Kurt, what he said at the place. If it's a case of that, then they need to let us know exactly what they did to help out this thing coming to pass. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think the FA has the power to say that if Nathaniel Attoh wants to buy Accra Lions, Nathaniel Attoh cannot buy it, except obviously it has to go to check the background of the individuals, and that's not the FA, national security and things. And then they still could find he's not a threat.
Well, if you're just joining us, we're reviewing a major milestone during the week, which was the acquisition of Accra-based Accra Lions by German football legend Lothar Matthaus. Question we're asking is, how is this going to ripple effect on our league? What are the lessons we're learning? A few things that have been touched on here are the Jan clubs, as we refer to them. Question is, why is it that we are not seeing them rather lead in these kinds of big mergers and these kinds of big acquisitions so that we can see their front improve a lot more than we're seeing them move now. Send in your messages. It's 055 Later on, we'll also activate the phone line so that you can join us with your messages. Now, I'm particularly excited about the optics. Okay, the optics. I mean, back there in Germany, everybody would see that this man has come here and has done this. I mean, in the football space, everybody's going to see that this has been done here. The optics. They always say in finance that, you know, when we go to the capital market and we're able to raise some liquid, we bring it into the system. I mean, the conversations around that alone sometimes affects the stability of the currency, which is something we've seen in the past few days. So in the same way, these optics sure should do something for us.
No,
right?
it will. It will. It will. The first and foremost, there'll be that much more of an interest. And whether Sado likes it or not, there'll be parents heading in his direction. Okay? Your peace of mind is finished. You'll have all manner, and much as you may say that's not what you want to do, and you only pass through the scout. Hey, nobody ain't going to pass through scout. They're going to come banging on your door. Quote the Ghanaian component of it. Now, if I bang on Sadu's door, I bang on Tanko's door. Tanko can go and raise it up and tell, okay, scout, go take a look at this. I've still circumvented the whole thing. I'm not going to the scout, I'll go to Tanko.
Yeah.
Because that's the way, quote, we do things. But you see, when you have a name like Matthaus attached to the brand, they can sell. They can sell. The name Matthaus should mean something. They can sell. You can't convince that there are no quotation marks German companies in Ghana. And those German companies, if they don't know, at least they'll know Lothar Matthaus, captain who took them to the third World Cup, or their third World Cup triumph.
Exactly.
So that optic alone is big. And people reported it because of him. It had front page rather than back page. You know, we say Muhammad Ali was the one who brought sports from the back pages to the front pages, from the last news item to the first news item. His optics brought it out. It wasn't more back page. It wasn't last news item. It's suddenly major item. It becomes something to talk about. So the optics are there for Accra Lions to exploit fully, and on behalf of this country. But the problem now becomes that if they are developing players, then it presupposes that the majority of them, you're looking to get them out of Ghana. The majority will go out of Ghana. It becomes a little bit of a dampener on not only bringing back the love, but then trying to develop the strength of your local league. And they have no obligation whatsoever. That's Accra Lions. They have no obligation whatsoever to say, oh, I'm looking at the local league to help develop it. So, okay, only 4 can go at a time. You lie. They are answering to their various stakeholders. And in this case, the 3 shareholders or the 4 shareholders. And they've got to deliver. So if it means sending them all out, so be it. And this is where it goes for me again, because we've been crying out to see our local teams begin to rise up, when they're not, particularly when they go on the African continent. Groups, you don't even get to group stages when you're bummed out. So for me, much as Accra Lions have done something positive and are doing, I would hope that they would also re-look at that aspect. And in terms of the development of the players, maybe I know it's nice to send 8 rather than 4, but I beg you, can you just curtail it and say maybe every year 6, so that it doesn't, because once the local league becomes quotation marks and nothing.
And this is a challenge, coach. This is a challenge, that the league faces season in, season out. We have a big name. Somebody pops up. He's scoring goals. He's doing something amazing, bringing numbers to the stadium, and then all of a sudden they have to go and look for the opportunities elsewhere. But maybe something, a move such as this can start improving the front of, salary levels and all of that.
Yeah, Nat, when was the last time you watched Accra Lions playing?
Been a while. The last time I saw it was on television, not at the stadium.
I'll concede. It's been more than 2 years. Unless it's TV. No, I'm going to say television. I suppose you mean that watch them play at the stadium.
Yes, at the stadium.
More than 2 years.
So they are playing some fantastic football, total football, and because of the philosophy around the team, that's what they want to play always. So they would always entertain the stadium, and that would add something to our local league. But there is another dimension that I want to draw my senior man's attention to. I did say that they would be looking at Ghana as being the hub for West Africa. So in as much as they would be sending players out, they would also be bringing quality who would have to play in the league before they go out. So that also would add some sort of flavor to our local league. But beyond that, I totally agree with him that there is no way FA, for instance, will say you can't sell more than 4 players in a season, especially if they are Ghanaians. If they are not Ghanaians, it doesn't even come at all. So for me, that's one area they should look at. But why is it that we cannot also start planning our league to make it so attractive? Because once we have the necessary sponsors, once we have the necessary standard in terms of coaching, referees, supporting and other things, we definitely would lift up the standard of the league. And then when you go to countries like Sudan and other countries they are not anywhere better than what we're playing in terms of quality here. The only thing is that maybe they have better sponsors, they have more money, so definitely Ghanaian players would love to go there. So for me, it's a wake-up call for the FA. If we do not want players to be going out and we want to really make sure that we have quality league, let us also invest into it. Let's start planning. Let's start doing something about the quality of our league. Because every footballer would like to progress. If I have the opportunity to go and play in a better league, why should I not go? Because do you think that because I have to be patriotic, so I would not leave the country and go and play in another league just because I'm a player of Ghana and I want our league to be a better one? No. It would be a difficult decision to make by any player, more so when it comes with some financial implications.
There's no doubt whatsoever, Seydou, that for me, whether we like it or not, our players moving out has caused some level of what's the word to say? Let me be careful. I want to use an appropriate word. Well, football not hitting the standards, but don't blame, and I don't blame them. I'm a reality on the ground here. Listen, we are in Accra here. Anybody who doesn't buy a house via the mortgage system or build it themselves, we rain insults on them. He is not a responsible person, particularly if you're a man. And then you want Kwesi Amankwa to stay in Accra, Kumasi, Tamale, what do I say? And earn 1,000 cedis a month. With all due respect to you, Chris. And so I can understand why people would want to go. And I can understand why people will come and look for a way to circumvent by seeing Tanko directly, by seeing maybe Seydou directly, by seeing Achampon directly, and say, Mebano Unimbobo, would the Beshana Keke, Nakachre.
Yeah.
Not very good. Catch a coach or something like that. Okay. And so there it is. Getting the balance right. So he lives in a country where we don't. What did President Kufuor say that at that time? In this case, government pretends to pay. Workers pretend to work. Okay. Okay. So there is this situation here. You're not paying them well enough. Now, you say, so why is he going to Sudan? Because he's going to get, with all due respect, from 1,000 cedis to $5,000. $5,000 is a pittance when it's compared to Europe. But if you do the multiplication factor, that's 40,000 Ghana. If you put 10,000 down every day, 40,000, you know the dollar is now like 8 to 9. Good. If you put 10,000 down every day and you start your something, within a matter of time, 2 years, the house is finished. That becomes a problem. So the player now looks at it from that perspective and will go. And we'll go to Tanzania. And we'll go to Zanzibar. And that is why when it comes to quote Chan, you don't see Ghana. You don't see Ghana. Because the Chow Chan concept is players play in your country. And the quality of your league goes down because most of the top stars go. But don't begrudge them. And I will never begrudge them. They've got a life to live. With all due respect, I hate to bring this as an example. But politicians and their cronies who enjoy, why don't the others also enjoy? So let them go. Let them go, but try and strike a deal. It would also interest me, which I had the guys here, as to how the players are going to be leaving, because they've talked about development. So when they've developed the players, what level are we talking about? That's one. But even if we all know the level that the person will be before going, can you prevent A from going if the parents say he's going whether they like it or not? Because if this is stretched to the limit, and you're the son of a former administrator, fantastic guy, freedom to practice by trade under Constitution. There's a limit to what you can do. There's a real limit to what you can do. So the parents have now seen this opportunity. Seydou has brought an opportunity to us, regardless of whether he has reached the developmental age or not. So you're going to see these things manifest. And that's why it'll be intriguing to see how they clear these little minefields and hurdles. But having said that, Charlie, Seydou, God bless you. I mean, you guys have done something that the so-called big clubs didn't seem to have the idea to do.
Now, there's another dimension which Carl just mentioned when it comes to the Chan. Some are saying that should we, open it wide to include players who, even though are not playing.
Can I cut you short? I've been advocating this. I fought with Issa Hayatou back in 2016 or 20. He came here. I fought with him. No, not 2016. 2009. Just for the work. I fought with him at a press conference at
Accra City Hotel.
Very good. I fought with that concept should be changed and allow all those playing on the continent to participate. Case closed.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Well, you join us with your thoughts as well. It's +233 55 11 11997. In the next 10 minutes, we'll activate the phone line so that you can join us with your thoughts as well. We're just exploring what this new development at Accra Lions could bring to the league in general and what can be learned, by everyone else. Well, we've been talking about the big clubs and giving them feedback. Now you look at the clubs who are at the level of Accra Lions, who, basically just started. Some are, just having their first Premier League experiences. But we also have to give some credit to, some of the new clubs. You look at Kotoku Royals, you look at Inswatreman. The infrastructure and the structures that they've put in place. At least it's been it's a great improvement on what we saw of. It's a big improvement.
Listen, I understand you.
Yeah.
And once again, to the detriment of the so-called traditional clubs. And this one I include Great Orifice. For crying out loud. Kwame Che can build a stadium at Abrankese. An individual. Okay? What the heck are the rest doing? An individual. And his team is not in the
Ghana Premier League.
That you even go and play your FA Cup semi-final.
at the stadium.
To play your women's. Do you understand it? And that's where I'm saying that. Who knows? Slide didn't have time to live long enough to get the finances to start something like that. But maybe there's something in it. That's why I said I called these clubs, the private sector clubs, and the traditional ones, the SOEs. Okay? No way. But even then, there's an argument for hard to work. They've started Problem. They've not started training there. Problem that your father, Frank Sawyer, and all those people.
Brett Akwete.
1994. Is it now that they are doing it? Is it now that they are doing it? 1994, the land was acquired. And then, Asante Kotoko, owned by Malaysia, owners of all the lands in Ashanti. And where's this? I leave it there.
Well, you join us and join the conversations with your thoughts as well. In a bit, we'll be picking, the thoughts of former Accra Hearts of Oak CEO Neil Armstrong Mottagbe. Yeah, we'll try to get his thoughts over there as well. Now, what in terms of of quality do you expect? Maybe in like the next 5 years, okay? We've spoken about the player exodus, and we've spoken about the fact that it's just not feasible to keep players here. I mean, it will be difficult to keep players here. But in the instance where you see maybe 2 or 3 of such partnerships or such acquisitions, then at least we're going to see a certain improvement on salaries and reward systems within our league.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm also forecasting that it's possible that we could in no time be having another one, like what just happened to Accra Lions. But if you look at the structure of Accra Lions, in terms of you talking about what's the plans for the next 5 years, Oliver is a German, and Lothar Matthaus is a German, Ibrahim Tanko is a German trained in quotes, and we all know the tradition and culture of Germany. There are people who are near to perfection in terms of what they do. So for me, this is a fundamental, fundamental foundation that they can stand on to even make Accra Lions a better team. I'm expecting them to be better than what they are now in 5 years' time to come. Look, at Accra Lions, if they transfer their player to, say, China, they have a philosophy that there should be somebody who is familiar with the China culture, who is familiar with the environment that the player is going, and that person would have to go with that player to make sure that, the player is comfortable to perform very well. One of the major challenges we have with our local players is their confidence level, and Accra Lions is working on it perfectly. Look, before, it's one of the reasons why they have a philosophy of having a white coach all the time. Not for any racism reason, but for pure business reason. Or a very trained professional coach who has, gotten the opportunity to work within a very professional environment. Now, what they do is that they build the level of the confidence level of the players. They teach the players how to talk to coaches by looking through into their eyes. This is something they intentionally do, and they are getting results. At Accra Lions, you would have to learn how to talk, how to say what you want to say, and how to say it nicely. Not only, in terms of talent, and you just play football and you go away. We've had players in this country who've gone outside the country to play football, but they could not succeed because anytime they are talking to the coaches, their heads are down. And to some, once you do that, it's a sign of lack of confidence. So these and many other subtle things that are happening at Accra Lions makes me feel and have all the confidence that they are able to sustain what they've been able to do for a long time.
Very well.
Yeah, it's interesting that their club colors are sky blue. Manchester City are
yeah, sky blue. We'll talk about that in a bit. Well, let's get on the phone line and speak to sports management professional and former CEO of Accra Hearts of Oak, Neil Armstrong Mottagbe, who's also...
the fact that he's an old boy.
He's an old boy of Achimota School. He's an Accra. I had to add that as well. And, Neil is a man of many parts within our football. Also served, many years as a football, a marketing instructor for FIFA, marketing instructor, and has done and conducted many training programs in different football markets. Neil, it's good to have you here on the show.
Thank you very much, Matt. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You've been working within the space of marketing, pushing the brand of our football out there so people can come on board and support, believe in the product and support. Now, this is something monumental that has happened in the last, considering the way things have gone in our football in the last, 10 years? Where do you stand regarding this and what it can do, on the positive scale for our league?
Well, thanks for the question. And to answer it directly, there's a lot for us positively. You talk about 10 years ago. I talk about 3.5 years ago, 2019. The expose that brought a lot of problems to Ghana football. So when you have a brand like Lothar Matthaus investing in an ecosystem that barely 3.5 years ago suffered the kind of carnage that the announced expose did to our football, we can only be glad. We've lamented a number of times when it is that we have negative development in our football. I think what Accra Lions have done, and I followed the program right from the beginning, today's program right from the beginning, and it's been pleasant listening to my brother Osman in the studio describing what it is that Accra Lions are doing. And now let me just on a lighter note say that if anyone in the commercial department at multimedia broadcasting or Joy FM for that matter, you think that the number of mentions of Accra Lions, the way Osman has described in vivid and clear detail what it is that we are doing over there would amount to something resembling a commercial interview, I beseech them by the mercy of God that they deserve every mention and let us give them that space. So that was just on the lighter side. No invoices. So it's a positive development. I look at brands, and it's true what our senior Carl Ford said, that the meaning the current dispensation or generation who might not know who Lothar Matthaus is. But Lothar Matthaus is definitely a brand that anyone who does a little bit of research would get familiar with what it is that he achieved in the game. It is true that he might not have played actively within the last 25 years, but what he achieved is copiously recorded. And if it is that the PR department of Accra Lions are so minded, they could go in the archives, pull out some of his clips, make a story of him, just so that the context of who he is, what brand it is that they associated themselves with, will be much stronger, especially even to the players of Accra Lions. I'd reckon, or I'd expect that by now, they would have been somewhat indoctrinated as to who Lothar Matthaus is and what his brand stands for. So for the wider football public, it will be good that that exercise is undertaken. And once it's undertaken, we can situate more strongly and more clearly what it is that Lothar Matthaus coming to Accra Lions does for the club, yes, but very importantly for the wider Ghana football space. It's a big development. It's a sort of a tacit endorsement of the talent, at least if nothing at all, the fact that there's a recognition of the talent pool that Ghana holds for football in Africa. I also monitor some of the media reports around the announcement, and they talk about West Africa being the biggest football pool. Obviously, Ghana figures very, very strongly in the West African football space. And so, in summary, it's a big deal. It's a very, very welcome development. Ramifications or positive things that other clubs can draw, so many of them. And I just hope that no one would envy Accra Lions for what they've achieved. Rather, we'll walk to them, learn of what they've done, and see how we can adapt whatever it is that they've done in our own small ways or our various ways, whichever club it is that we are, because we've got different types of clubs. You've got the traditional giants, let's call them giants, House and Protocol. You've got some others that have a traditional base, but they've been around in the Premier League for a little bit, like the Adriana. You've got Mediama, who are owned by an individual, but they've also held their own in the space. House of Lions are coming back. You've got the Congo Club, or the Bono and the Hapo and the Bono East Club. They all have come to represent some strong developmental focus. I just think that what our Lions have done is worthy of emulation. It's worthy of learning off them. And if all clubs can learn off them and adapt whatever it is they've done to their peculiar situation, I dare say we'll be able to raise the level of our competitiveness of our league, and hence the competitiveness of our clubs that end up qualifying out of the Premier League and going into Africa.
Well, Neil, thank you so much. And just before we wrap up with you, what would you say to clubs that are hanging on to that sole proprietorship structure and not letting go and are not opening themselves up for ideas like these? What would you say to them with this as a background?
Well, before I even say anything to them, I also want to pinpoint, again, back to referring to what Osman said about the purpose for which Accra Lions was set up. He kept stressing development. I heard our senior brother Carl saying, well, could they extend it a little bit? But he get back to Osman, development, because for them, when they focus on purpose, which is development, the other things will come. I make a biblical reference. CT says the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. So for them, CT says the world of development, no matter how young these boys are. And qualification from Division 2 to Division 1 came to them. Qualification from Division 1 to the Premier League came to them. They play some very delightful football, and very importantly, they are making major economic gains out of this enterprise for football. They are a living example of what we mean when we say football is big business. Gone will be the days for now to the sole proprietors who will say, "Boy, yeah," because anything we are happy to do it because we are happy with the game. We are doing a social service. We are helping young talent who would ordinarily or otherwise have gone into drugs and armed robbery. What our Lions have done, and indeed, what the likes of Legacy Personnel started doing some time ago. Some other clubs may not be as widely heralded as Lions may, because the brands that they've associated with are not as strong as Lothar, Matthaus, but there are some few others who are also doing great stuff in the football space. For every sole proprietor who might be struggling, if you are not struggling, think about this. Does it make sense to be 100% shareholder of zero, of say $100 or $100,000, or it makes sense to be 20% shareholder in a $2 million, $3 million enterprise? That's a question that you have to ask every sole proprietor, whom I think is making a little bit. I think that's about it. Lothar Matthaus comes in, he says he's investing $2 million in United States. 2 million euros, either euro dollar, I can't remember the currency, but it's 2 million of one of the stronger currencies of our world. You can give the right context. So, if you're a sole proprietor looking at what I've just described, you might be well advised to start looking at the model of Accra Lions and replicate it. There's so many people out there who you could attach yourself to. And let me recall for context what a former captain, celebrated legend of our game, Stephen Appiah, said, which created quite a furore in football circles. My context of what Stephen said when he talks about the legends being more involved in the game has to do with what assets they could be to our football, what assets they inherently or intrinsically are to our football. And part of that is the fact that they have such a network that you, Nat, me, Neil, many football administrators would never ever have to the makeup also. Even if you can pick up a phone and call a senior person as presented, probably get an appointment on the spur of the moment. Indeed, you could actually sit on a plane, fly to Italy and say he wants to see person as Juventus, and because of the contribution he made, because of his name recognition, because of his face recognition, will be given space. I can't do that. And that's where those of us who administer the game need to tap into the assets that we have in our former league. That's what you call replication. That's what any serious sole proprietor of a club could pick up what Stephen said, pick up any of our legends, any of our former players who have a good track in Europe. Talk to the person. What networks can you introduce me to? Where can you push me to? And once the person agrees, come to terms with the person. If you took me to Club X or took me to Legend X in so and so country, whatever economic value generated from that kind of contract, I will give you Y%. Surprise how many of our footballers can do this. Look at the number of our footballers we export. Hundreds of them. Look at the clubs and how we struggle. Let's just tap into that. Tap into that resource. We come to good terms that are not miserly, terms that show a recognition of the value that the legend is bringing to the table. And I dare say that the story that Accra Lions are saying today will be told by many other clubs in our country, not only at the Premier League level, but right down to Division 1 and possibly lower down.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Neil. We're very grateful to you for your contributions today.
Thank you very much, also, Nat. And good afternoon to Carl. Good afternoon, Osman. Good afternoon to you.
House Prefect, good afternoon.
Oh, he was a house prefect as well. House P, salute. So.
Thank you very much.
It's becoming more of too much Motown affairs. Maybe I need to get one academician here.
Are you aware that no matter what Osman says,
all right, thank you.
He's J. That's how we say it. He's J.
What is J?
Jealous.
So 0302-216-541 is for the phone lines. 0302-216-541. 0302-216-541. Get through to us and let's wrap up this conversation together. 0302-216-541 here on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, we're getting close to the the finish line of the Ghana Premier League, and now the dominance, like you said, this dominance of our big clubs is not looking like it's happening this season, and that should also point us in a certain direction, right?
Yes, because of what they are doing, and if they don't change their style or their mentality towards the modern scientific football, they will not get any result. It will continue for the next 5 years. They are really interested in results and not performance. And you cannot get a result without performing. And that's where the major problem is. I did say this in this same studio about 4 or 5 years ago, that Accra Hearts of Oak or Kumasi Asante Kotoko would continue struggling until they do the right thing. And the right thing is to develop players that can perform well, forgetting about the results. It will come by itself, and until they do that, they'll continue to struggle.
Carl, how do you strike that balance? So you are playing the game for fans who do not have the patience, or just do not understand that they have to sit back and see maybe a season and a half of inconsistent results, because once you play 6 games, you're not able to win all of them, and your Hearts of Oak or your Kumasi Asante Kotoko, the fans start complaining, and now then pressure is put on management.
Are you
management
communicating with them? That's the first
question.
Typical Ghanaian response. The man throws a question and I answer it with a question. Typical Ghanaian response. At the end of the program, I'll let you know what happened when. But are they communicating? Could be, couldn't be. But the crux of the matter is that it's for them to show the fans the way, and not the fans to show them the way. You must have a plan. You've just spoken to Neil. There must be a plan. A plan that in 6 months I should be here, 1 year this, and it builds up to that. After all, until 2009, between 2009 and 2021, 12 years, they had to open the league title.
It did recently.
Good.
Yeah.
So, you've got to have a plan. So it can't be always going to be so. I hope to reach here by this particular time. And let's see. Listen, Man City.
Please hold on that point on Manchester City. Let's just quickly pick these calls. Hello, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on the show.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Frank Nelson. Accra.
Oga, good afternoon to you.
I greet all of you. I just want to extend my greetings to all of you, Carl, my son, Saidu, and then get into the program and make a little bit of contribution. And then to congratulate Saidu, first of all, he must know he has his training from Accra Suffolk. He was my team manager at Aroras. So he learned from Accra Suffolk, whatever he's talking at Accra Lions. Now, I think Accra Lions, we should appreciate what they are doing. And everybody who is into business would definitely doff up their caps and say congratulations for what they are doing. But I have a little bit of problem, not because of their style, but because my club, Accra Suffolk, has been dragged in on times without number reference to what he was doing. Because anytime he wants to make a reference, he uses Accra Suffolk. I appreciate that because we're a big club. But you must understand that both clubs were established from different philosophies. Accra Suffolk did not start as a club who do buying and selling. That's not our model. Accra Suffolk, from the time it was established, basically was an entertainment club by a group of friends who came together and felt that they want to play football in locality so that they would be appreciated. So that the talent they have, they were not thinking about exporting them outside. Granted, times has passed. Every industry stands on finance. So for you to sustain such vision, you need money to do it. And that's what Accra Lion is doing by using the legendary Lothar Matthaus of Germany to attach in their club. But let me just draw your mind back. I heard Carl saying Accra Suffolk 1994, Harris Sayo, the property we bought. It takes vision to do that. And it takes sustenance. Accra Suffolk we have been in existence for almost 112 years. It is not easy for you to establish a business and have what it takes to sustain the business for 112 years. So that is a big plus for Accra Suffolk and any other club on that level. We've seen clubs like Liberty Professionals, with all the likes of Sule Montari, Michael Essien, Admambedi, Samuajan being exported from the same club. But at the end of the day, where's the sustenance? Today, Liberty Professional, sorry to say, I'm not using them as a model, but it's not the same situation that we saw them when Sly was alive. But having said that, Accra Suffolk, we have in Accra Suffolk, we have realized that alliance and exposure is very important in every business we do. That's why Accra Suffolk, we have what we call the Three Continents Alliance. We have a club in Cincinnati, in Hoffenheim in Germany, Cincinnati is in the United States, and we Accra Suffolk, we call it Three Continents Alliance. And this is to be able to achieve that financial power, that exposure that we do not just want to play in the local league, but we want to give our players that exposure. Currently, we have players in Cincinnati going on exchange program. Salim is in Cincinnati. We are trying to have other programs with them that for technical department to exchange ideas in technical department. But good to say, I wish, Carl, all of you should go to Pobima and see the work that Accra Suffolk is doing in Pobima. I don't think there's any club in West Africa. I stand tall to say that if you go and see the plans in Pobima, we're even trying to do an 80 rooms hotel in Pobima that will start very soon. You've seen the commercial center Accra Suffolk has done. You see the new model headquarters of Accra Suffolk. Go to Pobima. If you go to Pobima, you see a lot of facilities. We have golf course, basketball, table tennis court, swimming pool, and about 4 pitches that we are developing, 3 astroturf and 1 natural field. So it is not that we are sleeping on every bet. I appreciate what Accra Lion is doing, but using Accra Suffolk or any other club does not mean, because like I said, we all came from different models. And again, I said we realize that money is important. When you talk about get one man's business, Accra Suffolk realized this. And don't forget that we went to the public to float shares. Yes, somebody will say, what's the result today? It might not have been what somebody would have expected. But at the end of the day, Accra Suffolk, our shares in the public, we have shareholders. So we are not just saying, let one person keep the club, it be a one-man show or not. That's why people like Toby Afede came in to invest heavily in the club. Some of us have invested. I have a lot of shares in Accra, and other people have invested. And we'll look forward that people like Osman too can equally invest in Accra because that is his route. And all of us, so that it means that it will be viable. So that we'll be able to sustain bring back the love again. Because if we offload all our players, like Osman says, 19 players, 11 are in Europe, 8 are just around Ghana. Very good idea, giving welfare, giving life to other families. But again, we must think and say that football has its own merit. And at home, we need to maintain our football. Ghana has to be a place people will come and say, I'm coming from Angola. I want to play in Ghana League. Just like we go to Egypt or Tunisia and sell our players. We need to put those structures here. So we must help the FA to establish that facilities and what it takes to be able to attract other players from Togo, from Nigeria, from Angola to come and play in Ghana. Then we'll be looking at our league as a big. People go to North Africa and they play the league, and they become successful. They are rich. They come back with big money, and then because they played in Africa, and same can be done in Ghana. So, in as much as I appreciate what Accra Lions is doing, in no doubt, it's one of the best way to go. But their model is quite different from Accra Suffolk model. Our model is that we must make sure that our supporters are equally entertained, that the local people who talk about football do not just go to watch in super sports, they can go to Accra Stadium and watch a comfortable and very organized football. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Frank Nelson in Wokolo is a...
Frank is such an amazing character.
Yeah.
I just wonder why Frank is not...
the CEO of the club?
Please, I'm not going to use those words today.
Well.
Because I deal with him a lot. But Frank, the reason why I mentioned Pobima, there was a reason behind that. It's taken 20... how many years has it been? And once again, I said it was due to your father. But I'm saying that, if you remember, I even added that at least half a book, they've started
Pobiman, yeah. And their headquarters as well, in Asylum Down. Yeah.
In Accra. And I also made mention of the fact that Kwame Chi, that his stadium is not the one that they are using. It's like it's become the venue now.
Yeah. Okay, let's do one more phone call. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, too. Can you tell my former boss, before that see the bar for the person? You understand? This is Uncle Joseph. Yes, in fact, whenever I hear a topic like this, I feel happy and then sad at the same time. When I heard that Accra Lions had gone into this venture, I was so much happy for them in one way, because one, it will bring a lot of competition in our Premier League, and then also it will help promote our league because of the name that is attached to it. But in another way, I'm so much sad, all because if you remember this name, Tom Vernon.
Tom Vernon, yes.
Yes, he was in Accra Suffolk to have an attachment. And after the attachment, he returned to Ghana to set up a Right to Dream Academy. And out of that, look at the number of clubs that he has. He is being able to form outside the country. What it means is that we have the talent in Ghana here. We have people who can actually invest in our game. But we are sitting by it, and the foreigners are coming for it. Look at a team like Accra Suffolk and Kumasi Asante Kotoko. I heard Neil saying that Suffolk and then Kotoko are not into that venture. But that's not the case. As you move along, if you realize that the system is changing, you also need to change some things.
Very well, very well.
Kumasi Asante Kotoko, you have the goodwill to be able to do more than what Accra Lions is doing now. Can you boast of even a secretariat of your own?
Thank you. Thank you.
The land. You have the land. You can just say.
Thank you, Inko Joseph. Unfortunately, we're running out of time, and we'll just have to, call it a show at this point. Thank you for the submissions as well. It's definitely something that would have to revisit at another time, isn't it, gentlemen? Thank you so much.
I want to make a confession before we go. In 1992, Senegal. 1992, I was watching Carl.
Yes.
In one of the panels, and it was one of my vision to be like him in future.
Very well.
And I'm so happy to have the same program with him today. Thank you very
much. You are a big man.
You're using the most diplomatic way to say you grow.
No, but you'll be big man. You'll be big man. Thank you so much, Carl. Thank you so much. And Carl Tufo will be on Showbiz A to Z later on. In the past few weeks we've had marathons like that. It happens sometimes. When there's demand, supply must meet it, isn't it? Carl, we're very grateful to you for your time here this afternoon. Thank you so much, Coach Osman.
What for lunch?
And lunch. What about decide? That's right. And this is where we also have to say big salutes to Lawyer Frank Davis. Lawyer Frank Davis served on one of the judicial bodies of the Ghana FA and is also an immediate past chair of the Ghana Bar Association, the board chair of DVLA as well. This is his 60th week. He's just joined your club. Yeah. And also Kwachiwa Ofosuhene of APSA. Thank you so much. Happy 40th to you as well. People are celebrating milestones, Charlie.
Wow.
Anyway, you have a good one. Thank you so much.